it exceeds my comprehension. I don't know. I don't know. I don't get it. I'm so sorry. If it happens again, I think that's gonna be it. I feel so bad. I'm like eating up everybody's Friday. But I'll try again. Let's see how far I can get. Oh. Now I see. Yeah, I don't know. Well, this was a thing that I was making before everything went to smithereens, and I was trying to... Why is there no lag on that now? Oh, guys, I'm super confused. Why is there no lag? Oh. We're back, but for some reason there's no lag, which I had gotten so accustomed to. Anyways, I was trying to write a chord progression for this melody line. I was trying. And now there's no lag in the keyboard. Guys, I don't know what's going on. Maybe it's like a third time's a charm thing. But I didn't change it. I didn't, Umbe. I hear you, though. But I didn't. I wasn't here earlier, says King Cake. Did the stream act up, so you guys had to wait? Yeah, the stream pretty much died. It died twice, King Cake. It died a couple of times, but Maddie saved it with money. Maybe that's why there's no lag. Like echo happening. Just roll with it. probably been somewhat like self quantized. So let me zoom in and make sure that didn't happen. I'm going to put the claps in. I'm going to have the claps in come in the second half. I like it so far. I'm so sorry, guys. I'm just... That's close. That's close. That's good. I'm gonna put on a metronome though, just because I feel like I was like way off. I want to make sure I don't. Hold on. I done goofed. I done goofed big time. Okay, I just want to make sure that I'm not too off with the shakers, so I am gonna turn on a metronome. Oh, hold on. There's more sounds in here than I thought there was. Oh. Ooh. Ooh, this is fun actually. Because I don't use percussion for my keyboard, by the way, everybody. I don't. That's not a thing that I do. I do like that. Hold on. Yeah, that's kind of nice. For some reason, it blocked "Sweet" by Daniel. I'm sorry. Okay. Hold on. Let me give me my metronome. And let me go back to actually record this. me make sure they're on and not early, like I can clearly see they are. Now let's see what other percussion I can add. Why do I have that stuck in my head? Okay. I want one more layer. One more layer. One more layer. Nah. Well, there's the shakers I was looking for. This is funny. Okay, okay. I'm gonna scoot these over here. Oh, we're still getting echo in my voice, aren't we? There we go. Sorry about that, guys. Okay, so these are just a few percussive layers. I'm gonna scoot them all to the bottom. Like that. Turn off my metronome. Let's hear it again. What is that? What is that? Sorry. I'm hearing something. Oh, it's up here. It's up here. It's up here. I found it. It's just slightly early. There we go. Okay, I would like some layers. Let's talk about layers, guys. Remember Contact, what I was using to do the pizzicato strings? Now let's talk about doing some long strings, or sustained strings, as they're more accurately referred to, I guess, in the music world. That's what they sound like. I know you can't, because of the limited scope of my webcam, see this keyboard particularly accurately over here. It's my Yamaha Reface, though. I have it routed in as a MIDI, so I'm going to use that to do my string lines. Hold on. I'm going to use that to do my string lines. Thanks, Maddie. Sorry, I'm crediting Maddie with fixing the stream. It was a group effort, I think, with everybody. But Maddie fed the money demon. And now my stream's working. Who knew? Alright, this is the, I'm gonna take a poll. Higher or lower? Higher or lower? Maybe lower? Maybe lower? The one I just played are definitely... Wait, hold on. I just got an idea. Okay, I'm gonna have to do this with MIDI. I'm gonna record that, but I'm going to do some edits. I'm gonna do some edits with MIDI. So, hold on one second. Yeah. I'm gonna record it and then I'm gonna go back over it with MIDI. So give me 1 second to arm this. It's gonna go right here. Welcome to a very, very messy morning medley. I feel like I'm in like a battleship. I keep on having to reach like way over to my... This way. Oh, hold on. Marvelous. Okay, so we're gonna go in here and we're gonna erase some of these little like baby notes. I don't know why they exist, but they don't deserve to, so we're killing them. So this is what it looks like what I just played. Now I'm gonna go in with my little pencil here, and I'm going to add some edits. And when I say edits, I just mean like accents. So this is what it sounds like on its own. Okay, now that we have that, my edits, my accents, I just realized I don't have a woodwind section yet, so we're going to save those accents for the woodwind section. So these are my strings with the ensemble. This This is funny. Okay, so I'm going to go back. I'm going to backtrack on a little bit of this. Remember, this isn't a real song. This is kind of like a test demo. So, or a tech demo, rather. So these are my chords. I'm going to do the same thing with these chords that I did to the glockenspiel, the pizzicato strings, and the xylophone, which is, sorry, I got to figure out a way to silence that sound, which is resample it. So we're going to put this as bridge strings, export that. That'll work fast, hopefully. Then we're going to reintroduce it. Now, when we reintroduce those strings that I just exported in, it's in the studio. When we reintroduce those strings, remember, we're going to keep the MIDI. And the reason we're going to keep the MIDI is for reference. So these are our bridge strings. We're going to make them just an arbitrary color because it doesn't matter for right now. Probably not going to open this project again. And then we're going to call this string MIDI. Now, a really interesting thing about MIDI, or rather a really helpful thing about MIDI, is its visual quality. So I can do something like this. Watch, I can take the MIDI that I just recorded for the strings, make a new MIDI out. Sorry, made a mistake. Had to like triple undo really quick. So this is... stings. This is my string. And we can take this MIDI and we can put it back into Contact on a different pattern. Oops. On an unoccupied pattern. We can we can go into woodwinds, and let's say we're gonna use... I don't want to use flute. Let's use a bassoon. Yeah. So we have a sustained bassoon, right? But we're going to mute all of these notes because these were the notes that the strings were hitting, the violins or what have you, the cellos and all that junk. So now when we play it, when we play it like this, there we go. Sorry, it took a second. When we play it like this, we can have everything unmuted, and so we'll still hear the strings. But since we've muted all of the strings here, we will be allowed to go over it with a bassoon, which sounds like that. So let's do that. Let's say, oh, you're going to be annoying. There you go. We're going to use this note here. Doo-doo. We're going to go up. So, like that. It's really quiet right now. I'm going to turn down the strings so you can hear it properly. I mean, all of this stuff is going to end up getting mixed later, but ideally. But for right now, I'll just make the strings really quiet so we can hear the oboe or the bassoon over them. This is going to end up probably sounding bad, but I'm just doing it to test something. Yeah. Uh-oh, just realized I'm hungry. And then we're going to go a little bit higher, but we're going to bring it down lower. So we start higher. And we're going to line up with the high violin. Marvelous. Okay, so now we have a bassoon line. So what I'm going to do really quickly is just erase all of the notes that were from the strings. Yeah, 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 yeah. What was hiding behind there? Wait, I see one. Like a little roach. There we go. Now we're gonna export that as well. Our baby bassoon. Once we've got that all exported, we're going to drag him in and basically do the same thing like the compositing thing that we did to the strings and to the strings and to the glockenspiel and all that. We're going to turn it down, of course, because it's very loud. We're going to pan it slightly and insert, bada bing, hard clip it, bada boom. And now we have our strings. And there's going to be a bassoon with them. Cool. Okay, now we can go to another layer, but we're keeping it in woodwinds now, so I guess I could choose between either an oboe, a clarinet, a flute, a piccolo. I'm going to do flute. I'm going to do flute right now because I need some of that higher register because as, who was it that said that earlier? Umbe, was it Umbe that said that? There was already quite a bit of low end. And Umbe actually preferred the higher strings. But since most woodwinds kind of have a higher registry, at least the ones that I use, than strings, I was saving some of that higher register for the woodwinds, which, you know, flute is one of the main ones that is going to be in that higher registry. So let me quickly call that bassoon MIDI. Bada bing, bada blam. Group with above. Death from above. Let me hide some of these because it's starting to look a little messy. So right now, the ensemble so far is glockenspiel, xylophone, pizzicato strings. Then we have sustained strings, bassoon, Rhodes piano, and right now we're going to be adding a flute. Oops. Whoa, what's that doing over there? This shouldn't be anywhere else. Oh, I see what happened. I'm going to make a new one because that's going to keep happening. There we go. Oh, that's why. Let me go into my flute. There we go. Ooh, okay, so I'm gonna get rid of those. I'm gonna have it come in right after the bassoon. And then we go high. Oh, thanks for being in the stream, Lindsay. Appreciate you. Oh, I didn't even notice. I wasn't paying attention to the stream. Yeah, thank you so much. Sorry that it was such a nightmare. I don't know why it was. I'm still attributing Maddie for it working because I honestly didn't change anything. And then I'm gonna take that flute. Sorry, I had a little bit of a brain freeze. Brain fart, brain freeze. Oh, those are two different things. I'm gonna call that my flute line. I'm gonna export my flute line. Hey, what's up, Tommy? I'm gonna reintroduce my flute line here. As you can see, this is where the stacks, like, this is where everything starts getting messy. I don't do, like, a lot of, like, arduous sound design, although someone could make an argument that this is sound design. I don't do a lot of arduous sound design, but what I end up writing still ends up taking up a lot of space just because of how heavily it's layered. So this is going to be my flute layer. I'm gonna make it like a bright yellow. And then I'm gonna insert the MIDI for it. Gonna make that white, gonna auto name and group. Going to insert a MIDI out and paste that there. Call it a flute. Now we have another stack. So let me kind of zoom out a little bit so you guys can see what it looks like. This was like the early bit. I go with a double bass for the sake of dynamics. For the sake of dynamics this time, I'm gonna test out some brass. The tuba is not what I want to use. I mean, it's just funny sounding. All right, I'm gonna test it out with tuba though first before I try it with double bass. Double bass. I can't hear tuba in this particular scenario. I do like tuba, by the way, and there is a home for it, and this could be that home. It's just for whatever reason it's not vibing with me right now. So I'm gonna do a double bass ensemble. Yeah, give me that like rigid. Okay, all right. Oh, I hope your haircut's nice, Jaime. I hope it's very pretty. Okay, I'm actually gonna record it now. Hold on. First, I need to get an actual MIDI clip. Let's call it double bass, and we'll put it. It's funny that it's called double bass because I played in bands, when I was a teenager, and it's impossible for me not to hear double bass as like when the drummer has two pedals and it's like it's like, does anybody in the stream listen to metal music? Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Forget I said anything. Okay. Oh, little pipsqueak. Get out of there. I see that is a sick part to come in on, though. That's where I'm gonna come out from Marvelous. Okay, so here's what the MIDI looks like. I'm just gonna clean it up a little bit because I was having some fun there. Something's off. Something smells fishy. What was that? Oh, I see it. It's this little guy down here. How long has he been like that? Hold on. Something's being stupid. It's this thing. You hear that? One of these little guys is late to the party. Oh, hold on. Where's my Rhodes piano? It's the Rhodes piano, isn't it? Oh, his timing is just weird. That's weird. I wonder how that happened. Did he just get scooted? I guess it just got slid off somehow? Weird. There we go. I've got me a double bass now. Is there anything you can't make it dance with you to? Who named this banana pudding again? I don't remember who did that. It's actually chill. I'm just gonna put the xylophone there by himself. Yeah. Okay. This isn't so bad. I'll put him right there. We reintroduce the hook. But this time when we reintroduce the hook, it's going to be a little bit bigger. Put a clappy in there. Put a clappy in there. We can still use. that sounds like hot garbage. I can't believe it's there. Ew, I just really like the bridge of this. I'm partial to the bridge. Oh man, what a mess this song has become. But I'm gonna save this as banana pudding and I'm gonna move on. If there is a particular song somebody would like to see a breakdown of before yeah, the music is louder than my mic. Sorry, Jaime. I actually did that on purpose, but I don't know to the extent at which it's louder than me. But I mean, if there is a song that you guys would like to see or hear a breakdown of or see how it was made, hopefully something that came out in the past year, I can do that now, or I can mess around and make another like fun little dilly dad like this. However, before I start to do either one of those, I do have to use the bathroom. So I'll be back in a minute. Yeah, I'll be back.
Chicken coop, loop-de-loop, hula hoop, noodle soup, all night long, dustle dawn, nights and thawns, shooting hoops, out of grow, ebb and flow, plates are wet, use a bowl, cash for gold, dig a hole, easy come, easy go, chicken coop, loop-de-loop, hula hoop, noodle soup, all night long, dustle dawn, nights and thawns, shooting hoops, out of grow, ebb and flow, plates are wet, use a bowl, cash for gold, dig a hole, easy come. Chicken coop, loop-de-loop, hula hoop, noodle soup, all night long, dustle dawn, nights and long, shooting hoops, out of grow, ebb and flow, plates are wet, use a bowl, cash for gold, dig a hole, easy come, easy, easy, chicken, 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 chicken,
Alright, I'm back. Man, was I hungry. I gotta get something to eat at some point. Okay, I'm actually checking the chat to see if anybody had any specific suggestions of breakdown of something. I can actually do Easy Go. Might take a second. Oh, well, I mean, I guess that would serve both things. Jaime wants me to break down one of the quarantunes. Easy Go is one of the quarantunes, since you guys did technically just listen to it. Yeah, I can do that. Hold on. My projects. I wonder if I have it saved as Easy Go, actually. It's funny that my last search thing was didgeridoo. I did not do bacon and eggs. But I will. Or, Liana, more accurately, I will try. Also, Jesse says chocolat, so I have my homework cut out for me. So there's going to be quite a bit of this. luckily for the people wanting those things, Easy Go isn't a particularly taxing song. It's pretty simple. However, I would have to locate it first. Where did I put that one actually? Hmm. Oh crap! I forgot exactly how much was in here. Hold on, guys. I'll get it. I'll get it. Hmm. This is insane. There's so much music in here. Okay. Was it in Tattoo? Was it in Pick Me Up? Was it in Money Talks? It was a Quarantine. Let me see if this is it. That's definitely not it. No. Oh, I forgot to make that too. Oh boy. Wow. Oh, wait, hold on a second. Hold on a second. I gotta take this effect off my voice. I'm sorry. Thanks, Maddie. Thanks. Maddie's this stream is surviving off of the generosity of Maddie. Um oh yeah, that's just to hold me over once you leave. No need to apologize for your English, Sevka. It's great. Your English is a lot better than my Russian, so you're more accomplished than I am. What was it under? Honeydew is different. It's definitely not that. Well, until I can figure out where that is, I'm gonna do Shakalot. But I haven't forgotten Jaime. I am gonna do it. I just when I do like the quarantines, that whole folder is so messy and all those songs have different names than they were originally saved with. But I will do the chicken coop song. Give me 1 second though while I locate Shakalot, which was in Quick Breath. Sevka, I'm not breaking down new music. Uh, at this time. I'm actually breaking down music that's already been released. And goodbye, Tommy. Thank you for being in the stream. I appreciate you. Gabriel says, requesting an FFL chant in the top left corner. Kindly requesting. Yeah, I'll set that up in a minute. Just hold on while I open it. Wow, this song looks ridiculous. Okay, so, there are a few things that won't open. It's just me speaking French, so don't worry about it. If you were somebody that just needed to hear my French lyrics on this song, it appears that they won't be audible. Wait. But why? They're just muted?
Mon secret, qu'est-ce que c'est?
Yeah, they're just muted. Yeah, they're just muted. It's fine. Okay.
New York.
So first things first, you're seeing a lot of just stacked waves. There isn't a lot of MIDI in this song. And the reason for that is because this song was mostly written at Tom's place. I wrote the chords for it at Tom's place, and then Tom did a lot of the percussion and then sent it back to me. And this is the basic chord progression of the song, these Rhodes bits here. That's it. Now, those chords, when I played them at Tom's place, I ended up playing them on a different sound, a sound that I don't own. And so it only exists here in the waveform, but you can see, or rather hear, the notes played out in the actual song. I didn't realize how much delay was in this. That's sick, actually. Yo, Tom went hamburgers on this. On this.
Fashion Week.
I'm looking specifically for those chords. Give me 1 second, because I didn't actually color code anything in this song, so everything's all wonky. I was in the yeah, there it is. I can do the GIF song, Sevka. So if you listen closely, those chords are just these same chords, these Rhodes piano chords. They're just being gated and chopped. And then the vocals here are just me. It's just me recording my vocals into my phone, because this was before I had the microphone that I'm using right now.
New York. Fashion Week.
I think, oh man, this is so stupid. I think the lyrics for the song, I was just trying to make a runway house, as a lot of things on Quick Breath tend to be. So it's runway house, and so the lyrics are pretty just on the nose. It's just New York Fashion Week, and then. Yeah, this song is actually kind of dope. But as you can see here, the difference between these two inputs, I'm going to spend a little bit of time here, because as you can see, a lot of this stuff is like waves that were sent back from Tom. So I'm going to spend a little bit of time with the Rhodes at the top, because I did those in my bedroom. The first half of this arrangement are MIDI. Here. Now, whoa, Jesse says, I think the last time I was able to come into the stream is when you were working on writing these. Yikes. Well, welcome back. This bit, the reason that I did it in MIDI is because see this high, let me get a better optic on it. See this high bit right here? I wanted more control. I wanted a little bit of more control over the delay in these. And I knew if I recorded it in raw in a waveform, I wasn't going to have that control. So that's why these chords are recorded in MIDI, and these chords down here are recorded directly in. I just took this keyboard. You can hear it. I just basically took that same keyboard and just how it's plugged in right now for you guys there, I just plugged it directly into my interface and recorded the same chords. Again, the same chords with analog delay versus digital delay. You can hear a slight difference. Here's the digital delay chords. And here's the analog delay chords. It's a very subtle difference. I get really picky about delay. I'm sure a lot of people in the stream are like, it's the same thing. It doesn't matter. But that's okay. Those are those two things. Those are the two Rhodes pianos, which was a lot of the harmony and contribution to the song. Now I'm going to go down into a little bit more of the parts that Tom did. I kind of wish I had Tom sitting right next to me to help explain maybe some of the creative backing for why he made some of these choices. But the bass was all him. I gave him a bass line MIDI, and he did like arrangements and automation on it, and that's why it sounds like this. Again with the chords. Just putting Tom's stuff in the chat so that people will know. Because I keep saying just Tom, and their artist name is actually only Tom. Okay, keeping the ball rolling. Another big part of this was obviously those like stabby chords that I was letting ring out earlier, which was Tom's answer to the Rhodes chords I had. Those. It just kind of loops like that. There's a lot of very subtle things that are coming in. So most of the rest of the song is going to be spent on percussion, because I've already showed you the bass line, and I've showed you the harmonic backing for the song, which is the chord progression. So let's talk about some drums. This is a combination and a stacking of a bunch of different loops and stuff that Tom had. I don't have access to these loops. This is all Tom. The cuica too. Some of you know that I love cuica, which is a Brazilian instrument, I believe. It's used a lot in bossa nova. If you don't know about the cuica, please Google it or something just to get a visual of it, because that thing looks weird and it sounds like a screaming monkey, but it's a very, very useful instrument, and it's both percussive and harmonic, and so that's in this song. It's a very compressed and processed version of that sound, but it is, in its core, a cuica. And we have these chirps. If you were in the stream just as recently as 20 minutes ago, you saw me slowly building drum layers with my MX61. So that's all this is. Very, very subtle, shakers here, cuica there, this, which also is those chords that I was hitting earlier. Remember the Rhodes piano chords? It's those, just with a more percussive instrument. Now going down into the kalimba, I don't put kalimba in my songs anymore. I kind of gave up the kalimba in favor of the xylophone glockenspiel combination. So this was all Tom. Tom decided to put in the kalimba, which again follows the harmonic direction of the Rhodes piano, the chord progression and everything. It's all there. Just has the same like chops. For example, I'll play the kalimba. I'll play the kalimba, but I'll play it in tandem with the pad. See how they're hitting the same? It just reinforces the drum. A little bit of a polyrhythm is happening here. Not too much, so that'll be the last time I use that word in reference to this song. But the way that the syncopated, I'll use that instead, the syncopated rhythm between the kalimba and the pads with how the drums are showing up. To me, I'm not well enough informed to make this statement as fact, but to me personally, that type of syncopation is kind of indicative of South America, Latin American rhythms. Let's just call them equator-friendly rhythms, like, because even all around the world, like even in the Caribbean and stuff like that, something about being around the equator made people syncopate rhythms in a specific way that I particularly like. It's reminiscent of like island vibes, but that is being done here with the kalimba and the pads. Congratulations, Jaime got paid today. Also, Jaime got a haircut today, so congratulations to Jaime for both of those. I'm going to move into the bridge of the song where things switch up a little bit. So here's what I added to the bridge. Hear that? Hear the rhythm that's happening? It's that same syncopated rhythm. Now you'll notice that the notes aren't being hit all at the same time, and that's because I played it live. So even if you look at the duration that the notes are, they don't all line up super neat. If you look at when they are hit, they're not lining up super neat. If you look at how hard they're being hit down here on the velocitor analyzer, they're not being hit with the same force, and that's because I, a human being, was playing them. And so this was to give the bridge a slightly more complicated chord progression. Climb. Climb. Very like salsa friendly chord progression. Tom came in and automated. Again, we were talking about automation. Tom's automating a lot for the bridge. So I got to kind of while out on my chords, and you can see where a lot of the things that Tom was adding, if you just look at the waveform, you can see the waveform slowly fading in and becoming bigger. You can see that for several of the things he's adding here. And that's because it was giving my piano room to shine while still building off of it. And I'll let you hear those things come in. Whoa, thanks, Sevka. Oh, appreciate you, buddy. But yeah. So the things are slowly coming in. Things are very slowly coming in. I want to take a minute to draw attention to this cheese brass, as Tom named it. This. It just loops that. Now, why I'm drawing attention to this is because Tom wrote that lead line. I would never write a lead line like that, and I think that that's good because this lead line with specifically these chords doesn't particularly rise with the chords. The chords are getting higher, and the lead line is kind of staying in the same like ambiguous place. And when we build off of it, we being me and Tom, when we build off of that and add other instruments that are going to be hitting those same notes, you can kind of see it build out more and become this like weird thing where the piano chords are trying to bring it up to a higher place, while the lead line, the melody, is keeping it grounded. And it kind of creates this weird conflict yet collaborative effort. Crap, did somebody else give me... I think I heard it again. Who was it? Thanks. Whoa! Thanks, Jaime. Thank you. Jaime, you got paid today. This is your money. Should I go get a haircut? Okay. I'm almost done. I'm almost done with Chocolat. I'll get back to it, but thank you so much, Jaime. I appreciate you. This bit that's being added right here. This bit right here. Ooh, it's just a loop. But the reason that I like this part is because if you remember, Tom had control of the bass throughout the entire beginning. Remember this bit? In the beginning. Well, if you look really close, that bit also exists after the bridge. It's muted, though. It's muted. Hold on one second. Let me go to my bass. I'm going to mute my bass. And this is actually kind of cool. I didn't delete this. I kept all of the muted bits. I'm going to unmute Tom's bass and mute my bass from the bridges so you can hear the contrast. Okay, so that bass is still very good. I love the Prophet bass. But since I went to a different place harmonically with these chords, that bass just didn't fit anymore. And I thought, okay, since I'm writing the harmonics here, let me go ahead and take a stab at grabbing a bass that I think would go with this piano, which was this. And this is just to show you guys that collaborating with artists is a lot of compromise. You can see, I don't know how visible the colors are, but you can see this one right here, Tom Pad, is muted. This one right here, Omni Tom Prophet bass, is muted. Some of Tom's instruments have been muted so that I could shine more. Now, let's go all the way up to the top. Look it up here. Look at all this. See all this? All this MIDI? That's me. That's been muted. You kind of, I'll build a little bit of the song. Tom will get the song and erase some of my stuff and add their own things. Tom will send it back. I'll erase some of their stuff and add my own things. And you kind of have to do this like seesaw back and forth thing to arrive at what is a agreeable compromise. It's not always 50-50. I have some songs that are like 90-10 or 70-30. But this felt good. This felt right. And then the song just kind of ends. Oh, hold on. Let me talk about... I can't not talk about that. I also wrote that bit, but Tom provided the instruments. The instruments for it. This bit right... Not there. This bit. That's just a piano, and then I have it layered with this. The steel drums was a Tom idea. Because again, with the syncopated rhythms, this is very reminiscent of like those island jams. And what's more island than steel drums? example of collaborative compromise. I just want to quickly play the tandem between piano, steel drum, and listen to this bit here, this bit that my mouse is over. It's unnecessary. This bit? It's super unnecessary. I'm betting that 90% of the people that listen to the song don't hear that part, but I put it in there. I do love it. Okay, Lindsay did ask for the song. Lindsay, that is how Chocolat was made. Somebody being Liana did ask me to go over bacon and eggs. I want to say again that this song probably will not open, but I'm going to try to open it anyway. This song was originally called, as you can see on the side, it was originally called Zone, or The Zone. Wait. Yeah. Don't be scared, Jaime. Just do it. Even if it fails, if it's not dope, I mean, just mess around with it. It's like playing video games with somebody. Sometimes it doesn't mesh. Sometimes there's no chemistry or whatever, you know? You know? That is funny. It is the companion to Vanilla, Lindsay. You're right. You're right. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely correct. Now, I know you guys can't see the window that's currently on my screen, but there's currently a window on my screen saying 10 samples could not be recovered. So, assuming this song is roughly 12 to 15 samples, that's most of the song. So let's see what actually shows. Holy crap. Okay, so all of this, these little red freckles, these little zits on the project are supposed to be music. So let's see what actually plays. We got drums. That's not bad. We got a Rhodes piano, looks like, coming in. That's hot. Good. I mean, you can't hear the vocals in it. They're not gonna come in. But this song, I wasn't as bad as I thought I was. That's fun. I mean, it does that until the song ends. I'm really sorry, Liana, that the vocals won't load. But let's talk about that. Omni, why do your vocals not load for a lot of your songs that are 2 or more years old? The reason for that is, as some of you know, I didn't have a mic until about 2 weeks ago. How could that be, Omni? You have songs from more than 2 weeks ago. That's because whenever I would record vocals or anything acoustically, I would sing it into a voice memo app on my phone, and then I would Dropbox that voice memo to my computer. Eventually, Dropbox, due to inactivity because I moved over to Google Drive, deleted all of my Dropbox files. So a lot of those cool vocals and ideas were no longer hosted and just simply vanished into the nether. So the ether? Anyways, they vanished. Point is, they don't exist anymore. And so that's why a lot of the vocals from my old songs don't exist, but the instruments usually do, like the keyboards, because those were recorded into the computer. But yeah, the vocals were, I'm really sorry, though. I mean, I'm sorry because Leanna wanted to hear this. I'm not as sorry because I never want to hear my voice. But yeah, my vocals didn't load in. That's Boo Boo Kachoo. What was the other one? What was the other song? Your English is great, Sevka. Your English is great. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. What was the next one? Yeah, stupid Dropbox. Who cares? Who cares about Dropbox? Guys, there's so many songs in here that just that didn't end up doing anything, Like I didn't end up finishing them or releasing them. And I'm trying to find Easy Go. And I'm finding every single quarantine except Easy Go. Wait, Pick Me Up? What is Pick Me Up? What does that mean to play us out? Hold on. I don't think this is it. But I mean, I have to check everything. I have to be thorough because I want to check it out too. I mean, I want to be able to break it down. I got to redo the vocals live. Whoa! Sorry, screaming into your guys' ears. I just saw Jesse's thing. What on earth? Jesse, I didn't even earn that. Oh, I haven't done anything good. Oh, it's it. I found it. This is it. Oh my God. Wow. 2 good things happened. That never happens. 2 good things never happen. Okay. So first of all, thank you, Jesse. I appreciate you so much. You're amazing. Thank you, Jaime, for getting my Bill O'Reilly reference. Thank you, FL Studio, for actually opening the song I wanted to go over. Just good things all around. Thanks so much, Jesse. If you need me to do anything for you in the stream, you want me to do like the chicken dance or something, or you want me to make you a song, I'll do it. But anywho, this is a song called Easy Go, which for whatever reason, in my FL Studio directory, I have it saved as Pick Me Up. I don't know why I have it saved as Pick Me Up. But I'm going to change the name to Easy Go actually right now because I don't want to have to deal with this nightmare again of looking for a song and it's not what it's supposed to be. Okay, hold on. Easy Go. And then I'm going to go out to quarantine. Being organized, guys. I can't stress this enough. If you're an artist, especially a musician, please be organized. I'm organized sometimes, but when it comes to like just jamming, I never can quite stay consistent with that. Okay, so this is the guitar. Okay, so really quickly though, because we're talking about... I just saw Liana. Thanks, Liana. Want me to play double? You want me to play double? Really quickly, I'm going to show a couple of things that are pretty important. Thing number 1, this sound, that guitar sound comes from my MX61. Now I'm going to show you very... I'm going to show you very quickly. Sorry, there's like a delay on it, and so I'm going to show you very quickly how that was performed. Give me 1 minute. Okay. So that's the sound I use. That's where that guitar comes from. The guitar doesn't come from a guitar. Also, I just wanted to show you guys that I can still play it, okay? I still got it. I didn't just lose everything when my brain went bad. So that's where this came from. I don't really have to play the whole thing because you just watched me play the whole thing. So let's talk about percussion. We've got a 4 on the floor kick. Nothing too complicated there. We have your snares on your very stereotypical 2s and 4s. Combine that with a kick. And we also have a loop that I wrote out of FL Studio. Super simple stuff, guys. This isn't rocket science here. Then once we get into the breakdown, that's when my vocals come in. Now, it's going to be weird because you're going to have to be hearing my voice not only from the project, but also from the stream. So I'll try not to talk at the same time as I talk. I'll try to explain, stop talking, and then play it. So you know the lyrics to it. If you don't know the lyrics to the song, I have them somewhere over here. Yeah, I have them. Can you guys see that? Yeah, you guys can see that. Okay, so I have them here. I don't know how like visible that is to you, but I'll read them aloud. It's chicken coop, loop-de-loop, hula hoop, noodle soup, all night long, dusk till dawn, nights and ponds, shooting hoops. Gotta grow, ebb and flow, plates are whack, use a bowl, cash for gold, dig a hole, easy come, easy go, which is the name of the song. These are those lyrics.
Chicken coop, loop-de-loop, hula hoop, noodle soup. All night long, dusk till dawn, nights and ponds, shooting hoops. Gotta grow, ebb and flow, plates are whack, use a bowl. Cash for gold, dig a hole, easy come, easy go. Chicken coop, loop-de-loop.
It loops like that for a while. It just does that over and over. But those are the lyrics of the song. Now, the second half, you'll notice that it's a longer stretch of the vocals, and that's because I composited the vocals and I pitched them up like a chipmunk, and it sounds like this.
Chicken coop, loop-de-loop, hula hoop, noodle soup. All night long, dusk till dawn, nights and ponds, shooting hoops. Gotta grow, ebb and flow, plates are whack, use a bowl. Cash for gold, dig a hole, easy come.
Okay, those things are layered on top of each other like this.
Chicken coop, loop-de-loop, hula hoop, noodle soup. All night long, dusk till dawn, nights and ponds, shooting hoops. Gotta grow, ebb and flow, plates are whack, use a bowl. Cash for gold, dig a hole, easy come.
Now, if you actually look at the chicken coop, or if you look at the Easy Go video, you'll see me drag in these cowbell samples. These cowbell samples came from somewhere over here in this Nightmare Abomination. And so you can hear those here.
Easy come.
It's just a couple of cowbells. It only happens once in the song. The cowbells never come back. It doesn't matter. Now things get a little bit more complicated because I take a very long chord progression and I simplify it by chopping it. You'll see the guitar chords have now been chopped to do this. Hear that? Hear the looping in here in this bit? I'm just chopping and I'm looping things, guys. And now there's a bass line. The bass line was also recorded in with MX61. That sounds like this. Oh crap, I forgot how good the bass line. Hold on. Why don't I have that saved? What is it? I don't even know. I don't know how to find that. Anyways. Oh my god. It sounds like a bass guitar with like a lot of overdrive on it. That's clearly why I chose it, but I don't remember what patch it was. In fact, after this stream, I'm going to look up what patch that was and save that because I would love to use that later. And then it goes high. Oh. I think it's this time where it goes extra high. Yeah! Woo! Okay, that's sick. Wow, I haven't listened to this song in a very long time. I mean, technically, when I played it a while ago, I was in the bathroom, so I wasn't like listening. That's nasty. Okay, that combined with the guitar, we don't really need to go over it because I'm gonna play it all as an ensemble in just a second. But let's talk about the solo. Beautiful. I know what sound that is, though. That's a sound called wood panel. It's that. If you can hear that. So sick. I had fun with this. Okay, anyways, I'm not going to play it for you right now. If you want to see me play it, there's literally a video of that happening. So I'm not going to make this a performance stream. Sparkle waveform. Yeah. Look. Oh, sorry. It's, I mean, I have, wind chimes happening in there. Boop, 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 boop. I know what part you're talking about. This. Hold on. That's not supposed to sound that way. Yeah, the MIDI for that just looks like this. And it's twofold. That's where the sparkle comes from. And when I say it's twofold, I mean there are two things happening right now. One of them is a synth that sounds like this. And the other part is a glockenspiel, which we went over in my other song. And all I did was combine and layer those two instruments. And then I put them in the MIDI fighter so that I could perform them with the MIDI fighter. This guy. Marvelous. And combining all of those bits I just showed, I'm going to start it right before the bass comes in.
Chicken coop, noodle soup, all night long, vessel long, nights and dawn, shooting hoops, out of grill, ebb and flow, plates are wet, use a bowl, cash for gold, dig a hole, easy come, easy peasy, chicken, 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 chicken,
Really quickly, and this will be the last thing I say about this song in particular, harmonies. I do a lot of chord arrangements and I do a lot of soloing, but I only recently got into the idea of doing solo harmonies. That comes from listening to country music, actually. I'm not going to get into how that works, but I will talk about the execution of it. So this is my solo line. And then here's the harmony line. Hear the difference? They're a harmony of each other. If you want to see me play that, again, the music video is readily available on my YouTube, which you're already on, so if you can make the time, dope. Nice musical chicken sandwich, says Liana. Thank you, Liana. Definitely reinstall FL Studio if you would like to, Jaime. Um, I mean, it's there for you. Nothing's keeping you from being creative other than, distractions. So, if you would like to do that, I encourage you and empower you to do so. Yes, a supporting melody. You're absolutely right, man. That's what this is. That is a supporting melody to this. And then they're all on top of the chords. Is that my best song? Should I just retire now? Anywho, that's that. That's Easy Go. Who requested that? Who asked for Easy Go? Was it Jaime? Thank you, Jaime. If it was indeed you. I wanted to do something from Ego Death Quick Breath again before I just wind down the stream, because this stream has been... Oh, crap. I just realized I'm at $90. Thanks, guys. Thanks, everybody. I feel like I thanked already, but you can never thank enough. Thank you. I haven't eaten anything today, so I'm getting a little tiny bit dizzy. But I do want to go over some more stuff. Especially as a reward to the people that have been sitting through what has been a very problematic stream. So I'm going to keep my eye on the chat for any type of suggestions or questions or talking points. But in the meantime, I'm going to comb through some of the things here I already have on FL Studio. Now, last time we were in the stream, I went over a couple of tracks that were on Night Dream. This was roughly 2-ish weeks ago. So I'm going to do kind of like a refresher for the people in the stream on some of these. These I feel like showcase somewhat of like different styles that I've built up to the current day. Let me do more on that later. That's literally the name of the song is More on That Later. Oh, holy crap. Hold on. Oh, did I fix it? Umbe, I'm glad to hear... Leona's telling me to drink water. Umbe, I'm glad to hear that you've learned something in the stream. If there's anything specific that you would also like to dig into, please let me know. Because, I mean, I'm not a genius, but I do make music and I have some knowledge, I guess. Okay. So this song is tentatively titled More on That Later. Now, it uses a lot of the same principles that were used in the song that I just made. I will eat soon. Thank you so much, Lindsay, for your concern for my well-being. It is noted and appreciated and rarer than you might think. And then we go back into the hook. So let's talk a little bit about those principles. Principle number 1, establish a melody. Here's your melody. That's the melody. I mean, we stack it a little bit in this chorus. But it's just we're building chords. And then we drop into like a verse bit where it's just Rhodes piano, which is my thing, maybe my most used instrument. Jaime remembered the wet synth explanation. I will explain that. Thank you, Jaime. So these are the basic two parts of this song. After the second chorus or the second hook, I go into a more orchestral arrangement, which I broke down already in the stream of how I create. But let's talk about it just a little bit because I did establish the melody. So let's talk about what just happened. First, we have woodwinds. We have a flute. Two flutes. You want to see what those notes look like? They look like this. This is why MIDI is important, guys. This is what the notes look like. That's it. That's all the flute's doing. We have a little bit of a descending note issue over here, but very simple. It's not supposed to sound like much on its own. That's the point of an ensemble. Now let's talk about clarinets. We also got some clarinets happening here. Beautiful. And then it repeats. Again, this isn't all that there is. We have more woodwind arrangements. So let's talk about the second woodwind arrangement. It's a piccolo. And it sounds like and looks like this. That's our piccolo, baby. And that's not it. We've also got an oboe because I love woodwinds. Here's what the oboe line sounds like. Hopefully you can hear it underneath everything else. Beautiful. You get it. Again, that's not it. We have another woodwind. This is a bassoon. Remember we used a bassoon in the last one? Has a little bit more of like a bitey sound than the oboe. Hear it? This is it by itself. Here's it with the oboe. Hear how they layer and combine. Now let's add one more thing. If the woodwinds are going to do their thing, we need a bass. And luckily there is an instrument called a bass clarinet, which will provide a lot of the low ends. So let's hear what that bass clarinet sounds like. Let's combine a bassoon with that. Let's combine the oboe. Hear how they just kind of blend together. It's an enrichment trick, really. And now let's add the clarinets. Bring in the flutes. Now let's bring in a string orchestra. Swells. Now, remember the piccolo? Establishing melody. And that's it. That's this thing called More on That Later. Now, Cyber actually was the person that said the term wet synths. Ew. Wet synthesizers, basically. What is wet? What is dry? What is wet? And what is dry? Now, a really good way to explain this actually is ego death. Now, we can talk about it in terms of future funk. Because I do have some songs kind of like Easy Go, which have been grouped together. And you know what? Actually, never mind. I'm not going to use Ego Death. I'm going to use one of the Future Funk tracks. Future Funk. Yeah. Let's use an unreleased one. Let's use something like... Talkbox? Ooh, let's use Talkbox. Why not? Actually, no. Let's use Cookie Pouch. Cookie Pouch is better. Okay. So, while this is opening up, if I'm not too like glitched out while I'm talking to you guys, I'm going to explain a little bit of when music producers or anybody who is into subtractive synthesis uses the terms wet and dry. What they're really talking about is oh my god, I'm trying to do it without saying dry and wet. Affected and non-affected. Think of it as there are light switches in houses, but there are also like dimmer switches. Think of wet synths as a dimmer switch all the way on. As saturated, as convoluted, as affected as it possibly can be. And think of a dry instrument as something with the switch all the way off. Now, sometimes people like to think of this as sound, right? Like if you make an instrument wet or a synthesizer wet, it's going to be louder. And if it's drier, it's going to be quieter. But this is not true. When you turn off the light bulb does not disappear. It's still very much there. It's just outputting the least amount of light that it can, the least amount. And when you turn the dimmer switch all the way up, it's putting out the most amount of light that it can. Now, when we're talking in terms of synthesizers, you can use wet and dry to explain a lot of things, actually, that can happen. Hold on one second. I'm going to actually restart FL Studio. Give me one moment, because it's going wild. That baby's going crazy. Mance says, an EQ thing? Wet and dry? It can be. You can actually make an EQ wet or dry, but When Cyber use it as a form of wet synths, wet synthesizers, it's used in terms of onboard effects. Now, when you think about a synthesizer, a lot of times when you're listening to like EDM or whatever, a lot of those sounds do not sound like that. Think about it in terms of listening to heavy metal. Oh, I love these analogies. This is good. Okay, I don't know how many people in the stream actually listen to metal. I don't know. But when you listen to... Ooh, I wish I had an example. Well, I didn't prepare for this, so I don't have an example. But just in your mind, try to imagine an electronic metal guitar. People doing like guitar chugs, and they're like, jin, 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 like all of those noises. That is not inherent to a guitar. The like jig, 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 that is not indicative of a guitar. That is something that is happening because of an effect. First of all, the guitar is electric, which is an effect. Guitars themselves are just strings and wood. When you make a guitar electric by putting pickups and magnets in it, you're going to get a different sound. So that's one of the effects. Now add distortion to that, add overdrive to that, add gain to that. These are all effects that give that guitar its sound. If you listen to Jimi Hendrix playing, what was it, the national anthem, when he played that, there were so many effects that were actually happening on his guitar that you can't just go pick up like a acoustic Gibson guitar and get that sound out of it. His guitar was way wetter than the guitar that you would be playing if you went and just got, you know, like a Gibson acoustic guitar or something. So that in relation to synths, let's play with that idea a little bit. So this song is called Cookie Pouch. It's an older one, or it's an older unreleased one. It was in like the Future Funky things. I'm gonna play a couple of excerpts out of it so you guys can kind of get the general feel of the song before I break it down and explain the wet and dry comparison.
Big mouth, Alice Reek bench. 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 Big mouth, Alice Reek basement. Base mouth, Alice Reek bench. 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 Basement. Basement. Base mouth. 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 Basement. Base mouth.
Okay, hopefully you get the point of the song from that. So, there is a hook in this song. The hook is this.
Basement. Base mouth. Basement.
Actually, let me mute the voice. Here's the hook. Here are the chords for the hook.
Base mouth.
Wait, hold on.
Basement. Base mouth. Basement. Base mouth. Basement.
There we go. That's the bass line. That's the chords. I'm throwing some layers over it. The second time it happens, it does this. Hear how it's already different? Now, there's a lot of automation going on. If you don't know what automation is, just look closely at some things in the song. See this bit that says cut off? This guy right here. Look at this. I know it's hard if you're not in a DAW. All of this looks foreign, but I'm going to very quickly explain the difference between some of these things. Thing number one, MIDI. It looks like little blocks. If you can see where my cursor is, it looks like blocks. And if I open it up, you can see that they are blocks on a piano scale. So you can see where the notes are. Now, the second thing is waves. these kind of look like messy splotches. They look almost like a sideways Christmas tree. Some of you know what waveforms look like, so pardon the oversimplification. But that's what they look like. Now, the third thing is automation. Look at this line going from bottom to top of this little window, and then it starts to go down a little bit. Think of it almost like a plot chart or a graph. It has an arch. Some of you that were in the early part of the stream will remember me looking at envelopes, and they did a very similar thing, little mountains. Now, what is this pertaining to? What is this doing? Now, I'm going to play the ARP, and I'm going to isolate it with this little mountain so you can hear and see in real time what is happening. Now, I'm hoping that was a very, very clear and cut, dry, dry, wet, cut, dry example of exactly what's happening here with the wet and dry distinction. In the beginning, we have this automation is down really low. So it sounds like that. But by the time you get to the end, it sounds significantly different. That is this little thing. This meter right here is doing that. And I can change it around. I can make it start high and go low, and it goes like this. See that? I can make it so that it alternates. It goes down and up. I have like a much more varied effect. Now, this, if you're looking at this oscillation or this change in parameters, this lowest point down here is representing dry. It's representing things being dry. This high point up here is representing things being wet. You're going from dry to wet, dry to wet. So when Cyber was talking about wet synths, he was talking about synths that sound like this. Synths that sound very bright, bitey, affected, lush, thick, because most things, when they're dry, sound like that. They sound very small. They sound very, quote unquote, dry. That's where this terminology comes from. If you're throwing a lot of effects on things, you're essentially saturating it with that effect, making it wetter, making it more affected. Things are going to sound drier if you don't add a lot of stuff to them. You know, like a sandwich, if you just have meat and bread in it, it's going to be pretty dry. Maybe if you add, even if you don't have mayo, you add lettuce, you add tomatoes, you add onions. These are going to make the sandwich less dry. So that is what Cyber meant by wet synths. And wet synths are pretty popular in things like shoegaze, things like 80s pop, things like future funk, since we're talking about funky stuff like this. When you're thinking about more dry synths, sometimes classic funk can have dry synths. A lot of 70s music, especially like Hall & Oates and things like that, the synths tend to be more dry. It's a taste thing. It's, you know, you do it to taste. I hope I've explained anything, because, I mean, it could be either way. You guys could understand now, or I could have just made it more confusing. But a good way to think about it, Lindsay, in terms of my songs, a lot of the synths and Quick Breath are dry. A lot of the synths and Ego Death are extremely wet. Sometimes so... Oh my god, I just figured out something. Okay, hold on. This is great, actually. So I'm going to open a new file. Oh, this is perfect. This is perfect. Okay. I need you guys to just be patient for like 2 seconds. I'm going to do something that's probably going to make my voice sound a little weird. Just don't pay it any mind. Okay. Bum, bum. I'm going to record. Oh, that sounds awful. I'm going to record my voice saying a few things. Pineapple. Ocelot. Biplane. Ecuador. One-Way Street. Roasted marshmallows. Chrysanthemum. Half-priced boba on Wednesdays. Okay. Let me unweird my voice. Now I have a sound file. Here's my voice. I'm going to record my voice saying a few things. It's very loud. It's unaffected. It's dry. I can take this voice and I can put it in a very simple plugin like Reverb. Now, this is Reverb. This is what Reverb looks like. And the reason I'm using Reverb is because if you look really close, I'm not sure how visible this is for a lot of you. I'm not sure how visible this is for a lot of you looking at the stream, but on the Reverb, it does say wet and dry. If you look right here, there's a meter that says wet. I mean, a meter that says dry. And over here, there's a meter that says wet. Now, if I have my voice going and I turn the wet all the way down and the dry all the way up, this is what my voice sounds like. I'm going to record my voice saying a few things. Now, if I go back to this, watch what happens when I turn down the dry and I turn up the wet while I'm talking. I'm going to record my voice saying a few things. Pineapple. Ocelot. Biplane. Ecuador. One-Way Street. Roasted marshmallows. Chrysanthemum. Half-price boba on Wednesdays. See? Now you can combine them. It's not like how I described before where it's always a binary switch between dry on one side and wet on the other. Sometimes you'll have two, like here, two completely isolated faders. One that controls your dry and one that controls your wet. You can even see over in this diagram in the left, you can see when I turn down the wet, it actually gets more dim. Like it loses some of its brightness. Now, again, with neither playing, you can't hear anything. Record my voice. Whoa, actually you can. I'm going to record. Oh, that's just because I had my early reflection on. So, let me turn up the wet. Sounds like this. Awesome. Turn up the dry. Sounds like this. Ecuador. Actually, let me just isolate Ecuador. One-Way. Ecuador. Bro, Loop, what are you doing? Just keep playing it. Why are you doing that? Loop it, baby. Ecuador. Oh, that's why it's not. Ecuador. 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 Turning down the dry, turning up the wet. Ecuador. Ecuador. Turning up both. Ecuador. 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 Does that make sense? I feel like I've done this as many ways as I possibly could, but I feel like I nailed it that time. Crow asking about half-price boba on Wednesdays. There used to be a place in downtown Los Angeles on 7th Street called Toast Tea, and on Wednesdays they did have half-priced boba. So that's where that reference comes from. What's the middle of those two? In the middle, it's early reflection, which is way more complicated. I can't explain that, but I feel like I'm boring everybody else in the stream. maybe in a future stream I can explain early reflection and what that is for reverb. So 100% wet would be just the effect and not the original output, right? Yes, you're right, Lindsay. And then 100% dry would be just the original output, none of the effects. So, I think you get it. So when Cyber says wet synths, oh my God, there's so many wet synthesizers in this track. What he's meaning is there's a lot of things with the wet all the way up. Ecuador. In a lot of cases, Lindsay, what I will do, oh, wow, what a conversation this ended up being. Let me open up an Ego Death track because I do want to explain something. I think Open Up is a good example of this. Oh, I don't know why I stopped talking. I guess when the program starts buffering, I just assume that I'm also buffering. It actually happens when I'm not streaming too. Like sometimes when I'm waiting for a song to load, I just don't move. Sometimes I'll forget to breathe. Anyways, oh, you want Ego Death, the song Ego Death, maybe. Goodbye, Mance. Thank you for being in the stream. I appreciate you very much. We won't be here for much longer anyway. We're going to be wrapping things up very, very soon after I go over just a couple more things. You've studied synth pretty extensively, says Jesse. And it's always interesting to hear. Oh, thank you, Jesse. Yeah, I just had nothing else to do. When I was like, I don't know, like late high school, I just didn't. Oh, hold on. Sorry. Yeah. Oh, it's still happening. Hold on. Okay. I just didn't have anything else to do, so I spent a lot of time studying synthesizers. Or rather just messing around in FL Studio. Saying studying synthesizers makes it sound like I was like really academic about my approach, but I was just messing around, saying what did what. But hear this bit. More importantly, hear this bit. It's noise. Now let's talk about what's happening right there. This connects very, very closely to the thing that I was just talking about. How Ego Death has a lot of wet synths on it. Now, if I go over here to... I'm going to make a completely new thing that's not going to be a part of Ego Death. Just roll with it and me for 1 second. I'm going to upload a thing called Poison. This is a synth. You guys have seen it before, unless you haven't, in which case you're seeing it now. Now I'm going to go to a new... Oh my god, this song is huge. I'm going to go to a new file, and I'm going to just make a, let's say, 4-chord progression. Here's... Oh, hold on. Let me actually go to Poison. This is a 4-chord progression. Well, that's one note, but this is the beginning of my 4-chord progression. This is the first note, second note, third note, fourth note. Not very complicated. Sounds like this. Here is the second chord of my progression. It sounds like this. Boom, 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 boom. Not very complicated. Sounds like this. Here is actually, let me let those notes ring out a little bit longer. I feel like they're getting choked. There we go. First chord, second chord, third chord is going to sound like this. Like that. And the fourth chord is going to sound like this. So the whole chord progression sounds like this. Now I'm going to do a few very quick things to this sound just to clean it up a little bit. I'm going to take off a little bit of the envelope so it doesn't have as much effect on it. I am going to add an octave to it so it has a little bit of higher end. I'm going to take off the unison detune, and I'm also going to turn down the unison pan a little bit, and then I'm going to make the unison 2 so it sounds like this. Now pay close attention because this is where the bit comes in. I'm going to arpeggiate it. Now instead of doing the arpeggiation by hand, in the interest of time, I'm going to use the onboard automatic arpeggiator that Poizone has. So it turns this into this. I'm going to make it a little bit faster because right now it's 16th notes. Let's make it 32nd notes. Let's turn up the cutoff and turn down the resonance. Now we're going to send it to a reverb. Remember the reverb we just did that had wet and dry? Now watch what happens with the synth. I'm going to start turning down the dry and turning up the wet until there's no dry at all. Now, I'm going to take that pattern that I was just working on, and I'm going to place it on an unclaimed channel. I'm going to place it on an unclaimed channel down here. And it sounds like this. I mean, you heard it. Now I'm going to take all of that and I'm going to composite it. So I'm going to go over here and say, consolidate playlist from selection start. And it's going to make a waveform out of it. It's going to take a few moments, so just sit tight. Beat up. Ecuador. Where's my water? Marvelous. Okay, so now I'm going to erase all of the MIDI information. Boop, 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 boop. And now I just have the waveform. Let's expand it, right? It's just a fuzzy little worm right now. But we're going to take that and listen to this. Beautiful, right? Now we're going to... Sorry, I realize I'm going over this really fast. I'm not trying to make a mockery out of this whole process. Okay, so we're going to go into here and we're going to put it into 45, and we're going to repeat that process. See that? Now, again, dry, only wet. It becomes even more washed. We're going to take off the low filter cut. Now, we're going to consolidate that all over again. I hope that somebody in here is understanding what's happening. If you keep taking and consolidating the wet signal, just the wet, from a composited wave, right? Like you have a wave. Think of it as if somebody kept re-uploading the same image to Twitter and then clicking save as and downloading it and then re-uploading, if you just keep doing that, gradually you're going to ruin the image, or at least start manifesting artifacts in the image and degrading the overall resolution and quality. So now we have another waveform. We're going to beef it up. We're going to send it to its own track. And now is where something weird happens. Sounds like that. It's kind of noisy, right? What I'm going to do is I'm going to stretch it. I'm going to come up here to the multiplicator, which for some reason isn't just called a multiplier. I don't know why. Hear that now? And now I'm going to reverse it. And it sounds like this. Again, I want to play you guys what the original sound was. What is that? And that's not even the original sound. This is what it sounded like. And this is the final, I almost said final form. Sorry. This is the final product. So when I say Ego Death is just chocked full of wet synths, it means what I mean I'm doing is I'm usually taking a synthesizer and putting effects on it, and then gradually I'm just degrading it more and more until the dry actually isn't there, and all you're hearing is the wet. You're only hearing the wet signal. The original signal is completely lost, both tonally and as far as its timbre was concerned. Think of this, if there was an analogy of this, think about hearing a remix of a remix of a remix. And a song's just been remixed so many times that it's gotten twisted from whatever its original purpose was. Sometimes this actually happens, not to turn this into a TED Talk, but sometimes this happens in history. A lot of elementary schools will use the game Telephone to teach kids about that. How over time a message can just be changed and twisted and construed and lost. All of its original meaning is lost. But something that's interesting about that is in the same way I end streams by saying Abo. Abo has taken on its own meaning completely separate from I'm going to skedaddle. Sorry if somebody was not in the stream when I explained that. Basically, I have a lot of expressions that have just kind of come from mispronunciation and misremembering things, misunderstandings. Yeah, it's like playing telephone with audio input. You just ruin, quote unquote ruin, a sound until it becomes a new sound that is impossible to play. Wet synths don't exist, you know? You're just taking like the ghost of a synth and taking the ghost of that synth and the ghost of that synth until it's unrecognizable. I hope that this was helpful or in any way educational. And that is how I get a lot of these sounds. Like when you zoom in on this sound, it doesn't really sound like anything, right? It just sounds like haunting noises. It's because it's wet. And that, guys, is what a wet synth is. Okay. Heaven help me. Heaven actually help me. What is this? Oh, this is a good song. All right, anyways, that song was called Open Up. I know I didn't play the entirety of it, but I just thought that it would be a good example of explaining what a wet synth is. I have one more song to go through. I apologize to anybody who's tired. I know we've dwindled a little bit, but one more song to go through, and I promise we will be out of here. The last song that I do though is not. Oh, is that what you meant by unreleased stuff? Okay, so really quickly, Lindsay, Atlantis, Ego Death, Left Behind, Open Up, The Blessing, Therefore, Uber de Cerritos, Vanilla Verity. Now, Therefore, hold on, let me open this. I don't remember what this is. I don't remember what this is. I just be slapping words on like whips and hoping that I remember them, but this doesn't. It's probably something that's out, maybe just under a different name. At least that's what I'm going to be saying, Lindsay. I took a swig of some water a minute ago, and I will go eat. Jaime, I promise. A promise has been made. I'm going to be sitting in this chair, Jaime, until, like 9 or something p.m. tonight. I've already been sitting in it for roughly 6 hours, so what's another 7? But I will stop and go get something to eat, I promise. A promise has been made. Is this song opening? Okay. Oh, that's all this is, Lindsay. This was a B-side. Yeah, this one. I feel like I played this in a stream. Has anybody on the stream not heard this? Yeah, this is older. I'm gonna skip to the end because that's the dope bit. I don't remember why I made this. I think I was just bored. But hey, Liana, this was a B-side from Ego Death. This was supposed to go on Ego Death, but it just didn't fit, and it ended up being deleted from the track list in support of the track actual Ego Death, like the title track, which at the time I was playing with being something else. Also, Extinction. This song ended up going up. Hold on. This song ended up going up separately, which is why it's just one big waveform. This song exists on my SoundCloud. Goes on like that for a while. It's kind of a downer. I don't want to put you through this. Okay. Yeah, that's a SoundCloud exclusive. And if we're talking about quick breath B-sides, look, we got Chocolat, Close Down, Follow Me, Going Nowhere, Not on My Watch, Olympus. Quick breath, Taro's feature. Oh, that didn't end up coming out. I made a song with Taros and it didn't end up coming out. Dope house beat. Oh wow. Hold on. And then White Lies. For those of you, does anybody in the stream know the singer? What's her name? Sophie Myers. Does anybody know who Sophie Myers is? Sorry. Jaime, you have no idea how much I appreciate you saying that. Jaime, I don't know if you were paying attention to the stream, to me actually doing that, making sure the MIDI is underneath the wave in all my projects. It is painstaking. It takes up so much time. It kind of ruins my workflow, but it's necessary for me, and I'm glad that you appreciate it, because a lot of people that see the project are just like, this is messy. Why is that there? Anywho, this was supposed to be on Quick Breath. The singer on it is Sophie Myers. The reason that it didn't end up coming out is because Sophie Myers, congratulations, by the way, got signed to a major label, and they killed this track and made sure that it wouldn't come out. But I can listen to it whenever I want, which is nice.
I've got to realize that I need to stop wasting my time. I need to start over. I just wanna be more organized. When you said that you'd be there, I didn't know that was a lie. When you said that you'd be there, didn't know that was a lie. When you said you would be there, didn't know was a lie. When you said
It just kind of goes on like that. It's a really chill song. At a certain point, I do like add a little synth to mimic her vocal melody for the chorus. Where is it?
when you said
This is a good song.
you always treat me like that? Why you wanna treat me like that? Why you always treat me like that? Why you wanna treat me like
And then it had this weird B section, which was fun for me to make, but I don't think Sophie heard this part. Anyways, the second half of it does have like a weird time signature. Yeah, it has a little bit of a weird type of signature. But anywho, in the chat, Jesse kindly and curiously says, Omni, any desire to sign to a major yourself? Not really. I think for my needs, a major label is maybe not super useful because of the way I release music. I think that this song is a very good example of that. So if I was signed to a major label, I wouldn't have been able to release this song, you know. And neither can Sophie. Sophie, if you look up Sophie Myers, like Sophie Myers is huge, especially after everything that was said and done. Like I think she signed to RCA. She's like doing great right now, but there was no way they were gonna let the song come out, and I think part of me kind of knew that. And honestly, I forgot that this song existed until Lindsay saw the B-sides to Ego Death, and I was seeing if there was any B-sides to Quick Breath. And it's like, yeah, I love this song, but yeah, it can't ever come out, which is like kind of whack. And I think if I move on to something else, like another release, it won't maybe match the sound. Like it definitely matched the sound that I was going for Quick Breath. And then me and Mia Gladstone ended up making Not on My Watch, which kind of is that song. It's not similar. I mean, they're not the same song, but I'm saying like it occupies. Hold on, sorry. I'm saying Not on My Watch occupied the space sonically that song would have. Sorry, I need to figure out what this is, because this is also apparently a B-side from Quick Breath. I just don't remember it making it. Oh, I remember this. I made a video of this. Yeah, there is quite a few B-sides. Maybe an Ego Death Quick Breath B-sides EP. But the problem, Jaime, is I don't have legal permission to release that song because of Sophie Myers being on it. I mean, technically I could release an instrumental version of it, or I could record my own vocals, but hey, what's up, Cyber? How was the lake? Oh, I hope you had a good time. Yeah, Cyber, we were just going over B-sides from my releases that I haven't done. It's been 1 week since you looked at me. It's been a long and messy stream, Cyber, but it started working a little bit now. So thank you, everyone. That wasn't what I wanted to go over, though. I know. But it wasn't. I always have to think twice when it's asking me if I want to save changes to anything, because I'm so used to hitting no. Sometimes I've hit no when I've been working on like a very long project, and I've screwed myself over a little bit. So this song was made entirely with a pizza box, or at least the percussion was. Like, it was just me like rubbing a pizza box and slapping it. Oh, sounds sensual now. Anyways, it was me like making noises with the pizza box, like thumping it and stuff like that. And then I have piano chords somewhere here. There they are. Why was there a bird? Some of these songs, guys, we're winding down. Some of these songs are only exercises. Like, this was just an exercise of seeing if I could make a song out of, like, you know, the stereotype of carrying around a field recorder and like hitting things to make a song. I was trying to do that. I promise I will eat. Ye need worry little for me. The food will find its way into my tum. Night dream. Night dream. So many dreams, so little time. The thing that's interesting about this stream too, by the way, guys, is I don't actually get the chance to sit in Fruity Loops like this anymore. So some of it is like I get to show you things, which is nice. But if I'm being honest, there's a pretty large chunk of it that's just like me trying to figure out what the heck is going on here in my like mountain of projects, because it is a mountain. It is a mountain of projects. Hold on. Why did you sound like you were from the Middle Ages just now? Says Lindsay. I don't remember what I said. Did you sample yourself? That sound effect is very juicy and clear, says Cyber. Yes, the burp is me. I drank some ginger beer, and I did a big burp. Oh, we've done this one. We've done this one. Remember this one, Cyber?
Bye.
Oh, this is the Nice Stream one. This is the one that sounds like Nice Stream in the bridge. Yeah. If I can teach you guys anything, it's think micro. Stop thinking macro. All right? No elaboration, no explanation. Just stop thinking macro. If you're making a song and you want things to sound like, ooh, it's super busy, stop trying to make it sound busy and try to make it sound simple on a micro level. If you zoom in on a lot of things, for example, listen to just this. Ooh, hold on. Okay, very simple, right? You got your simple baby chords. Anybody could play them. A child could play these chords. That was partially a joke. These chords are a little bit complex, but simple chords. We have just chords and we have lead. Let's break down this lead. The lead is very simple, but there's a lot actually happening. There's a lot happening. Now, what exactly is the stuff that's happening? We have a pitch LFO for speed. If you were in the beginning of the stream, you know what that is. If you weren't in the beginning of the stream, an LFO is a low frequency oscillator. Pitch is, the note that you're hitting, and the speed at which that pitch happens is, this versus this. It's going to wiggle more. So I have edited the coarse pitch, which gives it that mew, that sound here. If you look at the note's not moving, right? That's coming from this automation down here, this pitch correct. And see how it pitches back up? Now hear that weird sound? The wiggling, that's from this thing. Hear that? These are very, very small changes that I'm making to automation that makes this lead sound just a little bit more interesting. Let's revisit it over here in the middle of the song where it's doing a little bit more. I see how I've added a little filter down here, a little Game Boy sounding filter. Makes it sound lo-fi. All I've done is cut off a lot of the low end. See that? Macro. It sounds bigger on a macro level, but yeah, I put some notes in here. I put some pitch bend. But that's it. That's all that's going on. And then, we've added a bass on top of it. We've added some drums. We've added some chords. Woo. Anywho, yeah. That's Think Micro. I wish that I could do a quick highlight of all the things that I was doing in this stream, but the commonality between everything I'm doing is these are not one-step processes. These are not two-step processes. When I talked about wet synths in regards to ego death songs, it wasn't play synth and then turn up wet. It was really play synth, turn down dry, turn up wet, export just the raw reverb, re-import that, turn on the wet, turn down the dry, export the raw reverb, stretch it, reverse it, flip it, chop it up. There's a lot of steps, and when you think about it, all of those steps only made one sound in a song that has upwards of 50 sounds. So if you're thinking about you want something to sound big, there are going to be a lot of times where if you pay a lot of money, you can get a synthesizer. Well, you'll be able to just hit one button and, it sounds like a masterpiece. But even if you can afford those things, I would encourage anybody seeking music writing and stuff like that, to learn those entry steps. It's pretty important. It's important if you're going to spend a lot of time in music, because it allows you to kind of build the tools of your own creativity. You know, you're not limited by anything. For example, I can hear. This is my keyboard. It's off screen, but this is like a Yamaha MX61. I could hear that sound, but in my brain, because of the micro, I'm not just hearing. I'm hearing definitely some reverb. There's like a tail on it. I'm hearing a sine wave. I'm hearing portamento. Hearing modulation. I'm hearing an LFO. If I hit one sustained note, you can kind of hear it going from like dull to bright. I'm hearing a lot of things, and these are things that if I wanted to create that sound or a similar sound, I could, starting from the bare bones, instead of relying on a keyboard that already has those things. Again, not necessary all the time, but if you want to build a sound that is uniquely your own and still lush and full, I would recommend learning a lot of those micro tips and tools to integrate in your arsenal later. I think that's gonna be it for this song. That's all I wanted you guys to hear. Really quickly, I'm just gonna open up the MIDI so you can see what this stupid thing sounds like, or looks like rather. Now, all of that was just done with a mouse. I clearly did not play that on a keyboard. I just clicked everything out because I knew what notes I wanted. I think that's it. Yeah. Liana's telling me to eat. Thank you. Oh, little takeout emojis. I am gonna eat. I always suggest going into music from the audio engineering angle instead of just raw production. Oh. Yeah. I will be eating, Cyber. I will be eating, Liana. Yeah, Daniel S., but not for long. We are closing it down. I'm going to start going over news now. I do have 2 new releases, one of which is called Ego Death, the other one which is called Quick Breath. We talked about them a little bit in the stream today. We talked about them and their B-sides, actually. Those can be found on platforms. I can't do the thing now. It's horrible. Wait, I can. Okay. Can I? Oh, not with solo on, I can't. Haha. Those can be found on Bandcamp, SoundCloud, Spotify, iTunes, Amazon. Oh, what? Omni. Bandcamp, SoundCloud, Spotify, iTunes, Apple Music, Google Play, Amazon MP3, Tidal, Groove, Deezer, Pandora, Napster, and YouTube. That was so messy, but you guys get it. And my voice was really quiet, but I'm not gonna type it out. Anyways, thank you everybody for being in the stream. You can hear those releases on those platforms. This is Friday though, which means there is no stream tomorrow, and there's not going to be a stream on Sunday. I'm going to be chipping away at the old work block this weekend, so I probably won't even be that active on social media either. I also want to thank everybody for being in the if you were in the first half of the stream. I do really apologize for that. I would like to say that I troubleshot it, but I didn't. I just ended the stream and started it over, and for whatever reason, it worked okay the second time. So I'm gonna spend some time this weekend figuring out what exactly that was all about, and maybe fixing that out or fixing that. Yeah, that's it. I can't play Hush Hour before doing the rest of the stream. So instead, I'm going to kind of pan over and just play Hush Hour on this keyboard over here. Hopefully, I answered everybody's questions and got to all the talking points I need to get to. Yeah, maybe I can do do bop, do 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 bop, ba da 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 da. Okay, there's a little bit of lag in the stream, so I'm not going to sit here and wait for any last-minute questions because I realize it's going to take a minute, and I am hungry. So thank you, everybody, for being respectful to me and polite to each other. I hope you guys do enjoy your weekend. I really do. I'll see you back here Monday for what will be a regular morning medley. I'll be on the piano again on Monday morning. Please enjoy your weekend. Thank you again, everybody. Abo. Heaven help me, Jesus.
Chicken coop, loop-de-loop, hula hoop, noodle soup. All night long, dusk till dawn, nights and dawn, shooting hoops. Out of grill, ebb and flow, plates are wet, use a bowl. Cash for gold, dig a hole, easy come, easy go. Chicken coop, loop-de-loop, hula hoop, noodle soup. All night long, dusk till dawn, nights and dawn, shooting hoops. Out of